Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our meeting this morning. We're going to start with, I'm going to call this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise if you're able to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning. I'm going to call for a motion to approve the agenda today. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any did? All right, motion carries. The approval of the agenda has happened. Approval of minutes from the May 24th regular meeting. Do I have a second? Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed or abstentions? The meeting minutes are approved. My remarks, President's remarks. Folks, as we move into the heat of summer, I want to take a moment to reflect on some recent highlights and share a few important updates with our community. Earlier this month, we held our annual Volunteer Appreciation Dinner, an evening that truly showcased the spirit of Ocean Pines. A heartfelt thank you goes out to the 187 attendees who joined us in celebration and a touch of Italy for providing such a delicious meal. The evening was filled with laughter, gratitude, and community pride. Whether you serve on a committee, support one of our many local clubs, or volunteer time at events, please know your efforts do not go unnoticed. You are the heartbeat of Ocean Pines, and we're stronger because of you. Looking ahead, I want to remind all homeowners about our upcoming Board of Directors election. This is a pivotal moment to shape the direction of our community, and your participation matters. Please take a moment to confirm your mailing address and your current email address with our administration so that you get your packet in the mail. Accurate contact information ensures that you'll receive the election packet and your ballot without any delay. Make your voice count. Your vote matters. Included in this year's election materials that will be mailed out on July 8th is an important referendum on funding our new Southside Firehouse. This project is vital to maintaining and enhancing the emergency services that protect every resident and visitor in Ocean Pines. I encourage you to review it, the details in the packet, consider the long-term benefits, and please cast your vote. Thank you for your continued support and engagement. Ocean Pines thrives because of neighbors like you. Dedicated, thoughtful, and involved. Let's continue the work, and together we can build a safer, stronger, and more connected community for all. And we're going to move forward. Yes, Jeff.
Can I have a moment to follow?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
That's fine.
Hey, yesterday we had a town hall, like Stuart referenced, on the referendum to approve the spend for the new Southside Firehouse. We all should have empathy and pride to vote yes on this referendum. Everybody. I was talking to Bob Ciparelli yesterday, and he reminded me of a saying. He said, Jeff, and John, you'll probably remember this, if you aim for good, you're never going to achieve excellence. We, as a group, have invested in excellence for years. It's all started when we invested in retaining our excellent general manager. That's the foundation of it all. With John Viola and his staff, with support of this board, we have continued to invest in excellence. A couple of examples. We've invested in the excellence of our veterans and their families with the new Veterans Pavilion. We've invested with our racket center, with that brand new building to support all of our racket players. We've invested in excellence in our food and beverage management with an excellent restaurateur who gives us an awesome product. We've invested in our community center with a new excellent floor. Well, let's turn our attention to safety. We've invested in an excellent police chief and he has brought to us excellent police officers. Why shouldn't we continue that with our volunteer fire department? We have an excellent chief and an excellent president. We should give them excellence in their building to support us for fire and emergency services. So I come back around to it. We should all have empathy to vote yes. John always references a Goldilocks situation. The 7 of us, along with John and his staff, we have created a Goldilocks situation. And what do I mean by that? We all have just the right amount of research capabilities and analysis capabilities to get stuff done. What happens if you have too much of that? Nothing gets done. Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Jeff. Well said. We're going to move forward with our GM report. John?
Thank you, Stuart. First page. Let's look at that cover for a second. Okay, thank you, Keith. All right, we just did a lot of landscaping, beautification all around this building. It was long needed. We will continue with this. We will continue with it in the fall here, as well as other places. We have done sun down at the Racket Sports complex, and Karen has done a lot there too. So we have that on the agenda for the fall. So again, we're constantly looking at beautification, constantly trying to move it forward. Turn the page. Initiatives. All right, so the initiatives here today, and Debbie is with me today filling in, and Debbie will take you through the amenities. Right now, I'm going to start off with and then the chief and the individual from the cell tower will do a presentation that everybody I know is waiting for. Turn the page. Bocce ball courts. I'm excited about this, and I know there's well over 100 individuals that are playing it. I can't wait to play it. I already talked about this. It was about $51,000. Southwest Greens put it in, did a really good job. The tournaments have started. If you are interested in playing, please reach out to Mike Galileo. But next step is this, and if you've been there, is we're going to put in a patio. We're going to do it in-house. We happen to have the talent on our landscaping team, Tony, and I know he's itching to do it. So we will do that. Debbie's talking about umbrellas, so this will evolve into a really nice amenity as we enhance the customer experience here at Ocean Pines. Turn the page. Ocean Pines Volunteer Fire. Well, we've already heard a lot about this. I'm very excited. I know many are. Compliments to the work group. I just want to reiterate the names and everything. Frank Brown, Eddie Wells, Marvin Steen helped out in the beginning, and Bill Stamp with me at the very beginning, as well as the individuals from the firehouse, Joey, and many others that had input. So excited. Hopefully this will go forward, and I know it will. So just some of the things, when it initially came out 2 years ago, it was around 20,000 square feet. Now it's about 15,000. Every foot of that has been reviewed. And the pre-planning stage is done. Now, here's a picture that the fire department, what they're seeing, but it's more about the color scheme. So just look at that, and then I do believe that I have a picture. They're definitely in the back of what the architects have drawn. So between the two, you can get a good idea. And there are 2 extra bays. Turn the page. Okay, so where are we today? We have prepared the referendum question. I am fine-tuning the amount of money that we will be requesting in the referendum. It'll be somewhere around 3.7 million, kind of in the ballpark of what I've been saying all along. We did talk about the options. I believe we are going to go forward and fund this from our reserves, from our balance sheet. I will use that phrase. It's been approved by the board to go forward. The town hall meeting yesterday, I thought it went very well, but it's up to everybody to decide. The referendum, I think I just saw the date this morning. I think it's July, help me out, the 2nd, 8th? July 8th, all right? So there it is. So with the timing and the fact that we just got the architectural drawings and everything, we will go out for bids and detail after this goes out. So Stay tuned on that, but I believe we're in the ballpark with the numbers we're asking. Shovel in the ground, everybody likes that phrase. It's October and it's 65 weeks, not 65 months. Turn the page. Food and beverage, I'll do this. So food and beverage, I got some good numbers here. The weather affected numbers for May, especially at the beach club. But however, gross sales exceeded May of the prior year by approximately 150,000, led by the yacht club. So it was basically all the yacht club. The beach club was down, but it's coming back really well. So let's just hope for some sunny weather because that team down there is doing a great job. June gross sales trending higher than prior year. Let's keep in mind that Touch Italy only had really 1 month to prepare. So this is like their initial season. And I remember last time we said we'll give them a year to get there. So, which is the right thing. So they're already knocking, right out of the box. We need good weather. Turn the page. Okay, I'm going to let Debbie's here. Debbie's our director. She is filling in and she's going to take you through all our amenities. Debbie?
Good morning, everyone. So we're going to start off with golf. And the new irrigation system is meeting all the needs during all the weather and the heat wave that we've had this past week. The greens and course are in really good shape. Golf memberships are up 29 members versus prior year of 167 to 138 at this time and at 103% of total budget dollars. As of 6/25 revenues at 203,000, we are forecasting another 30,000. 233,000 total for June versus budget of 221,000. Numbers of rounds between 230 to 250 plus during busy days. So they're doing really great work here and really, really busy. And the course is in really great shape. Turn the page. Oh, got it. Racket Sports memberships are down 98%, 98 members versus the prior year at this time and at 68% of total budget dollars. There are currently 2 working water fountains. Touchless water fountains need to be replaced because they need to get new ones for the new building. Racket Sports Director Pro puts out water bottles when the heat index is over 100. So that way they're getting water, but not having to be in a cooler where people got their hands all over it. New Racket Center clubhouse getting rave reviews from patrons. They love the new look, larger community room, upgraded pro shop, and expanded bathrooms. Ladies Day has reaped rewards in attracting players across the region, also resulting in new memberships. Go ahead.
Yes, Monica?
Sorry.
John, I think you can clarify this. So my understanding and looking at the numbers, Racket Sports are down $4,000 year to date from last year to this year. Is that correct?
Right. When you look at last year, it's not down that much, correct?
Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's basically the same, if not going to go forward. I would, any other questions? Because I would like to touch on this a little bit.
I just want to say I've been up to the Racket Center a couple times. That building is beautiful.
No, I agree. So I just wanted to add some on this. So, we hear it is down, but it is down to budget. If I go back, what I've heard for years and we've been doing is if we invest in the Racket Sports, which we added new courts for pickleball, fixing the cracks, which we do every year. If we build a new building, which we did, then we would start to make money to offset all the losses. Well, I missed something with that because in general, everywhere else, and we did raise it, but it's still below other places and it was very low to begin with. But what I missed there was when you look at those numbers, what it says is people from Delaware were coming here. We would lose those people if we raised the prices. And maybe we did. But my review of this is this. I don't believe this homeowners association is in the business of, what's the word you want to use for oh, thank you. I wanted somebody else to say it. Subsidizing people to come down here from Delaware. If they want to come, they're welcome. So that's what I've heard. I haven't come up with that, and I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I heard, that the people from Delaware weren't going to come. Now, they do have other options, and granted, and that's good, just like there's other options in Ocean City. So what my Racket Sports Pro director, because when I say pro, has told me is let's give it a little more time. Let's get the building open. Let's see what happens. So Maybe we should have budgeted a little differently for that, but you know what? I stand by it. I stand by that pro. And we're going to give the best experience down there and the best product that we can. We'll continue on that. Hopefully people come.
All right, I think we're good with Racket. Thank you. For the aquatics department, aquatics memberships are up by 8 memberships versus prior year. So we're holding really steady there at the time and at 93% of total budget dollars. We are projecting to meet and exceed budget. Yacht Club pool open at 7 p.m. on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is something new. Swim and racket pools open until 8 p.m. on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And this year they are doing a special event, Caribbean Sea Family Splash at Swim and Racket. Had to say that a little slow there. On July 19th, 5 to 8. So they're trying new things over at the aquatics department. And this is a new event that they're doing there. And they are working with the Touch of Italy to enhance the customer experience at the beach club and to provide different things. Last night, I'm going to speak a little off a little path here. Last night we did, the recreation department did a dog at the beach, and we had, for the very first time, and Katie had 20 dogs and their families that came out, and they had a real good time with doggy ice cream and treats and raffles and all kinds of good stuff. So that was a new program that she had brought to the neighborhood, and it went really well despite the weather. So added that in there.
So let me just, thank you, Debbie. So on the aquatics, I know the aquatics committee, they do want us to try to open the pools more and at night. And I understand that. It's a great amenity and we are trying. What I like here and in the discussions with Touch of Italy, Rick of Touch of Italy, and with Bobby, they want to work with us on it. So this is the first time I've seen, they want to work with us on that. So we are in conjunction with them looking for some events in August. But certainly our team and their team, the two teams together, we're going to try to open it up and try to get the lifeguards and stuff. Michelle is behind it. And by the way, Michelle does a great job down at aquatics like everybody else.
Right, recreation and parks. So summer camp is well underway. Week 1, we had 134 campers, and that was when school was still in session. And then week 2, which was just this past week, we were at 152 campers. That number just rises each week as we go through. We do pool days on Tuesdays, and that's at Swim and Racket and at Mumford. So we like to let the public know that we embark on the pools with that number of children every week. And then they do field trips on Thursday, which are anywhere that we have been able to schedule. Family Fun Night started this week at the pool at the Yacht Club, and that was over 200 people that attended. I think the heat might have been a little too much for those that were not going to be swimming. So we're thinking that next week we'll have larger numbers. Concerts in the park, they have started this week, so we will have those free to the public on Thursdays at White Horse Park. And the 4th of July event, we are well into planning and getting all that underway. We will have the 5K race in the morning, the hometown carnival that starts at 4 o'clock, and it runs right on through until fireworks are starting about 9:15. And those are all at the Southgate Pond. And it's a wonderful event. If you guys have the time, come on out and join us. We have food vendors. We have games and prizes. And this year we have carnival rides, which we've never had in the past.
Debbie?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to add, if you get a chance, listen to this recent version of Pines Cast. You have Katie and Kevin talking all about this. They did a very entertaining podcast on the Pines Cast this past time. Also, I had a question for you.
Sure.
With the camp. Remember, we had an issue last season with cancellations. Did your system you put in place fix that?
Yes, it has.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
John, do you have a
Yeah,
question?
just a quick question, Debbie.
Of course.
What is the capacity of the summer camps? How many children?
So really, it's based on how many counselors I have and how many groups I have. So it can be, in the past, it's been about 130. But John gave us the right to hire a few new counselors this year so that we could max out each one of the groups. And our director, Haley, has done so. We did have a few that, as we set in place the payment structure, that decided that they weren't going to come. They had summer classes at school or whatever the case may be, was not a lot. But each one of the weeks, there's anywhere from 50 to 175 kids that run all the way up to week 8. Week 9 and 10 are a little less because of staffing issues. But for the most part, we're really, really maxed at the 175, 176 that we have for 5 through 8.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. And you're going to work on drainage?
Thank you, Debbie. All right, so the drainage, the ditches, I do want to talk about this a little bit. I do want to make it clear because this is important. It's important to me. It's important to the association. So I've labeled this over the past year. This is our program, Together We Are Better. We have done a lot of work on the ditches over the years since I've been here. We have cleaned them. We have cleaned ditches that I know people told me for decades they weren't cleaned. We fixed pipes. We fixed the main pipes with the liners, which everybody on the board approved, which was one of the best things we did. So the drainage is working. So now you look at it and you've got to keep the ditches clean. So we had that. We were doing it ourselves and we still do it. But as we would do them, and not in every place, but there were places where once we finished them, people then felt, oh, there's a place to put my leaves. And we did see that. We saw it on Beecham, which was clogging up one of the main routes down to the bay. So I have asked and we have talked about and supported by everybody for the ditches. And I have to say, Ocean Pines, basically the whole place, has helped us with the ditches. And you see it with the drainage. And so if you look at the violations, at least the ones that have been out there now. So the beginning of May 1st, the CPI team said there was 7 open ones. There were 2 additions. They resolved 5, and then we just have about 4. I'm only talking about the ditches. I'm not talking about anything else on the property. Pure ditches, this Together We Are Better program, which I believe, and I think everybody, and I drive around when there's heavy rains for the last 7 years, and you see the difference. So 96 of these ditches have been resolved since October 2024. So compliments to Ocean Pines and everybody that has supported it. I just appreciation. Turn the page. All right, Debbie's going to take you through the violation total.
Okay, so CPI violations, excuse me, as of May 1, 25, there was 355 violations. New violations were 207. Closed violations was 97. As of 5/31/25, 465 total violations. 207 violations initiated in May. 78 maintenance, trash and debris, 25 grass, 13 leaf maintenance replacement, 18 no permits, 11 signs, 3 trees, and 59 miscellaneous violations. Miscellaneous violations include easements, permit expirations, screenings, trailers, unregistered junk vehicles, vehicle parking, and wire metal fences. 97 violations compiled of 465 remain open. 129 maintenance trash debris, 21 grass, 63 leaf maintenance placement, 81 no permits, 11 signs, 9 trees, 151 miscellaneous violations. 102 of the 465 violations are still open and illegal.
So we tried to break out, and thank you to Linda and to Josh for breaking out. I wanted the detail so we can see what the categories are. And that's very important for us to break out for everybody, and we will.
Next page. So work orders for May. As of May 1, there was 144 open work orders. We added 92 new ones, closed out 94 open work orders. As of 5/31 was a total of 142. 92 work orders initiated in May, 9 bulkheads, 28 drainage, 24 ground landscaping, 4 roads, 1 signs, and 26 general maintenance. Majority still open in drainage, 82, 38 over 30 days, 13 over 60 days, average 1 to 4 work orders a day to complete depending upon severity.
So that work order that's open, that got my attention. I'm sorry. Got everybody's attention. It's not uncommon for this time of the year to have something like that, and we'll be able to catch up with that with time, especially with the rain.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty Justice, that your
Video.
time for the opening remarks
That's
be limited
us.
to 3.
I've been a volunteer since I was 14 years old.
And I appreciate the time being on the board. Thank you.
That was yesterday.
That was last night.
That was yesterday. That was yesterday.
Thank you, Steve. Last, and certainly not least, Ms. Amy Peck.
Are we allowing the questions to be
Green
answered
did
yet?
I'm sorry, Katie, there are no questions now under public
yet.
comments. You can ask or talk.
I'll tell you later.
Are we good? Okay. Okay,
Thank you.
that's all right.
Appreciate what you do, Chief.
All right, so next page. Customer service. Yeah, so customer service. Right now for the info at Ocean Pines, we had 26 inquiries about amenities, CPI 18, drainage 2, general questions were 142, and Public Works had 5, with a total of 223 inquiries on the info at Ocean Pines. It seems like it's really working.
So there were a lot of them have been resolved. The main thing, the 142 general, and I've seen the emails, tremendous amount of emails coming in. People wanted the smaller trash cans, which Linda is working on, and so is Republic. So that was a big part of it. Front page. Financials. I got it.
I have not talked about.
It's my favorite. Okay, financials, turn the page. All right, so it's the first month, the month's year to date. We put unaudited. They're normally unaudited, but let's see what we have. So we were favorable. It's already out there. I see a lot of people, I don't know. When I first came here, I said we got 8,500 golf experts and 8,500 accountants. So, and that's a good thing, but we're favorable 18. Where is it? It's golf. Golf again. Golf is the economic engine driving this place. Aquatics is coming along nicely. Keep an eye on aquatics because they're doing very good things down there and the numbers are showing it. Beach parking's pretty much flat. We did increase our budget for that and it's coming in and we still have people coming in for beach parking. The racket sports, we talked about that. We know, and other people have talked about it. Yes, we were down from budget and we'll see with time, what the real answers are to that. I'm certainly learning from it and I'm sure everybody else, but let's see, we have a good product. Hopefully they come. The marinas, there was a lot of small craft warnings and everything, but over time, we believe that we're going to do well on that. So that's a small one. The food and beverage, if you look at it to the current year, we've just off a little bit. But the forecasts I have for June and going forward, you will see that we'll at least meet budget, if not more. And again, the budget, what we did for food and beverage was in the black after depreciation. We're estimating of somewhere around $170,000. So that's big. We never did that before. So we're only down 2, but the numbers in June are promising. Rec and Parks, favorable 9. I know the lady sitting next to me. A lot of good things have been happening up there for years. We're certainly looking at our expenses now, and her and her team have driven new revenue. And I know she's got some plans for this summer, and I appreciate it. The police are favorable. However, he is gearing up, as we've heard a lot. And so that will be basically over time. And that's another reason I know Budget and Finance asked me, why are your expenses up from last year and everything? Well, now with a police department gearing up, obviously, but that's just per budget. All right. Fire EMS right on target. The administration, that 30 needs to be explained. We did receive EDU money. That was a hard one to budget for. Remember, we were budgeting back starting in October, November. So some of that is EDU. There were some assessments from some new purchases or whatever. And if you look around, you can see things going in there. So that pretty much it. Marketing, finance, favorable 18,000. I'm proud of the team. Turn the page. All right, this is the schedule. It's a schedule like everything else.
Excuse me 1 second, John.
John, just had
Sorry.
a quick question.
Yep.
It just reminds the 45,000 for food and beverage. That's a function of the rent that we collect as well as our share.
So can you just go back one, please? So just give me a sec. Yes, so the 45, right, the budget is 47. I had it mixed. So correct, that 45,000, what that entails is we get $32,000 a month for rent, which basically covers our depreciation, our expenses. So that we get at the beginning of each month. With that, we do receive 6.5% of non-alcohol sales. And the non-alcohol sales has been around 52%. So that is money in the black for us. And at the end of the year, I believe it'll be 150, 175. So yes. Yep. That was a good question. Okay, so this is a big one, especially with everything going on. We have a lot going on, but this board, this team, the association, we're prepared for it. We are excited about a new firehouse. We believe we will get the go-ahead after the referendum to go forward. We have a new irrigation system going in. We've done a lot on the infrastructure. So, and we also have a DMA study coming up, and that DMA will kind of tie everything together. We have brought it up to, they will come in somewhere around August, September. Originally, I was telling everybody it would be April. This way, hopefully I have the information on what we need in order to do a budget, and that we can see where we are on our very important reserves and our balance sheet. So I have told everybody, I believe our balance sheet, our reserves, that we're in a good place. So what I asked Mark to do is, if you go down, you can see our beginning balance for 3025, around the $6 million for everything, just like I was updating all year long. That's unaudited, but I'm not expecting any problems with the audit. If you go down to the line 53125 and you scroll over to $9 million, $9 million. And I hear this every year, oh, we got all this money. We do have that money. We need to handle operations with that money. That's the money that comes in, and, you know, we still have to pay for everything we said we were going to do in capital, right? $1 million of bulkheads, we have it all there. The estimated spend for general, and then you can see that's around $3 million. And now what we did was, let's look at this firehouse. We would probably have to pay, and especially if we do it out of our reserves or our balance sheet, and there is a little difference there. I'm going to take half, 1.7, 1.9 will probably come out. And that'll leave us around 4.4, 4.6 at the end of the year estimated. And then I have DMA coming in, and they will either tell us that we are just right, maybe we don't need as much, or maybe need a lot more. I'm betting on just right. Turn page.
John, just a quick question.
Yeah, sure. No, it's a big one.
When we're talking about funding the firehouse and the referendum going out to approve us to go up to 3.4 or 3.7.
Right.
That's not all at once. So as it goes out, it's being replaced, but the total spend after everything might be in that range.
Yeah, so that, you know what, that's a good point. Let's talk about that. Let me make sure, hopefully I get this. So Stuart's right. It's not going to go out all in one shot. It's going to go out, depending on who the contractor is, but it could go out monthly or probably, you know, in a stage of 3, not uncommon for construction. I'm betting it's probably going to go out monthly. Stuart's right. This is going to overlap 2 different fiscal year assessments. So there will be more money going in to the reserve when I start the 25, 26 to 26, 27 years. So that's a good point. So it will overlap. More money will be going into that, just in general. Good.
Thank
You got it? Yeah. All right.
All right, moving forward, we're going to go to the treasurer's report. Monica?
Thank you, Stu. As of May 31st, the association had approximately 20.9 million in cash. Cash increased from the same period last year to 1.7 million. Cash increased 3.2 million from April of this year. We have 8.8 million invested in CDARS. We earned 53,000 in interest income for the month. The remaining 12.1 million is in insured sweep accounts, treasury bills, money market, and other operating accounts diversified between 2 local banks.
Thank you, Monica. Any questions? We're going to move ahead to public comments. Any members of the public wishing to make a comment, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and you're limited to 5 minutes. The floor is open.
Hi, my name is Ann Hebner. I'm 415 Ocean Parkway. My husband, some of you know, my husband is Jeff Hebner. He is the numbers guy. I'm the feeling person. So I'm going to tell you my feelings right now. Everyone's talking about, racquetball, and the numbers are down. Let me tell you my feelings about it. I don't play up at the Racket Sports. I'm too busy. I have plenty of neighbors that do. And you know what they've been talking about? They've been talking about playing multi-sports. I don't hear that in the numbers. They're going to platform tennis, and I don't know the other things, but they've been trying something else besides pickleball. So as much as, we're saying, oh, numbers are down, I think something new started. There's more community. Used to be racquetball versus tennis, etc. But I think now with the one price membership, you've seen a little more community in there. They're playing multiple sports, or at least trying. The biggest problem I have about that is now they want me to not try tennis, not try pickleball, but everything. And it's hard to say no. But I just want, you all think about numbers, this and that, but it's our amenity. And it's nice to see people crossing the line now that there's a one sport membership. So that's my feelings. You could all talk numbers all you want. I do stay in my budget, but numbers. We're a wonderful community. And I think this is a good spot that everyone's working together, playing multiple sports. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Excuse me. Yes, John.
Stuart, and I want to apologize to everybody, the board and everything, especially the gentleman here from Milestone. So we didn't have this on the agenda. I put it as part of the GM report. I just skipped over it, but the chief and the gentleman from Milestone is here to do a presentation on cell tower, if that's okay.
That's fine. Go ahead.
All right, chief, gentleman from Milestone.
Morning. Thank you, Mr. Viola.
Morning,
to
Chief.
the board. And this is a moment that I think everybody's been very curious about, and they've all been waiting for. So today I have with me Mr. Matt Forkas from Milestone Communications, and he is going to be doing a presentation on what a potential cell phone tower could do and where Ocean Pines is considering putting it. Right now, we are considering putting it on Ocean Pines property, right behind the maintenance building here on the golf course. But right now, I will turn it over to Mr. Matt Forkas and the benefits of what it can do.
Good morning. Thank you to the board for letting me speak. John, Chief Robinson.
Yeah. We can hear you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So my name is Matt Forkas. I work for Milestone Towers. We're based in Reston, Virginia. If you could go to the next slide, please. We've been in business for over 20 years, and we're proud to service all wireless carriers. That includes T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, and Dish Wireless. We've built over 200 sites with over 50 different municipal landowners across the East Coast. Most of our work is with government and school sites. You can go to the next slide. So a little bit about where we are and how we got here. Verizon had expressed interest in filling network gaps in 2024. And we engaged with Ocean Pines. I connected with Chief Robinson to see if we could find a viable location on Ocean Pines property. We walked the maintenance facility here in 2025, and that location was chosen only because It's a very central location in the community, and it can provide the most efficient service to the customers here. If you go to the next slide, please. So a little bit more, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile are committed to providing service as soon as construction would be complete, which is in our business fairly rare to have 3 carriers interested right off the bat. So I'll have some coverage maps in the next few slides. But the service here across the board is very unreliable. And, if this tower did get approved, it could take anywhere after zoning 12 to 18 months before service is online. You can go to the next slide. This is a little bit about our breakdown of revenue. Milestone shares 40% of all gross revenue the tower generates with Ocean Pines. On average, each carrier pays around $2,500 a month. So in this case, we have 3 carriers, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And then after the revenue split, it'd be $36,000 annually to Ocean Pines. That's a 30-year term escalating at 2%. So this tower will remain there and provide as best service to the community as it can. Go to the next slide. This is a Verizon coverage map. This is showing the RF environment of Ocean Pines. You can see in the second image, that red circle is the radius in which the tower will emit Verizon's service. So you can see on the left hand, there's nothing there. The graph is showing fairly unreliable service. It's mostly green, which is I would call a mid-tier. Maybe you're getting 2 to 3 bars at best. If there's a lot of people coming into town and it's more busy, that service would definitely hinder, and there would just be more congestion happening in the community. So you can see.
Can I just jump in?
Sure.
With a couple of questions as you go along. So we had somebody in about 2 years ago, and they recommended the same locations that you did, and basically the revenue was about the same. That wasn't you or anybody from your team, was it?
You said that was 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2-3 years ago. Same locations, which is I'm excited about. At least I know it's.
Yeah. No, I believe we got connected.
No, we did.
Okay, so this was with the Chiefs connection with the, okay, so I just want to let everybody know this is the second one, so that's gives me very positive on this. But the second thing, and the chief can answer it, he answered my question the other day. Where I live down off Manklin Creek, unless it's changed on this one, but Chief, I was outside the circle. But when I said to you I'm outside the circle, what is the answer that you would tell me or somebody else?
If you could, outside the circle, in which direction in this image?
So it would be south.
South? Yeah, so I would assume that, you may get improved service, but you may just not get the most reliable service. So the highest impact is within that circle right there, but it'll cascade out too,
right,
and it'll also communicate with nearby towers. And the closest tower you have right now is where we're proposing it now, southwest. So those 2 towers communicate to offload.
Right. So I just want everybody to hear that, because that's what the chief told me, and that gave me assurance that even if I'm outside that circle, that I'm going to get improved service.
Yeah, I think you will experience improved service, but I wouldn't call it the most reliable service, as if you're closer to the tower, proposed tower.
Okay, thank you.
Do a quick follow-up
Sure.
question. What is included in that circle? I'm in a dead zone.
Sure.
So I would appreciate to know if my area is within that circle.
Yeah.
That's it's a 1 mile radius.
It's roughly a 1 mile radius. It's hard to, I can see if I have it here.
Is it near the yacht club?
So
It's up
I
to
think
Baylor.
the closest main road is Ocean Pines Parkway. I don't know if there's a way to zoom in for the
Yeah.
people here, but
You have it on another map.
I have it on this one here.
Wait, when you find that answer, does the coverage change between the summer and winter? Do leaves interfere with signal?
No, the tower will be emitting past the tree line, so.
Okay.
Well, I would say if all the trees are dead, you may see a variable increase, but not by too much.
So it's my understanding with speaking with Mr. Forkus that, like you said, the best impact is going to be within that 1 mile radius. But the individuals that are outside that radius, if you see where the tower is, you're communicating with that other tower. You're still going to be closer to this tower. So you are going to, there is going to be a growth of service to areas even outside that circle.
And you can see too in this image right here, if you compare it to the one on the left, you'll see outside the red circle, you see improvements of of yellow shading where that wasn't there before. So that's what I mean by the slight increase outside. But
Yeah.
if
Further
you're within,
out, there will be a better service.
and if you're within that circle, you're going to get the best service you can possibly find. I don't know if that helps with the streets.
And if you're in the area of the yellow between the two towers, you got both sides trying to cover you.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
So you will see an increase in service.
Is that other tower one of yours?
No, I can't confirm
That's
with them.
built by tower.
That's Towercom? Okay, yeah, that's not us.
I have another question, and it may be something that you're going to address later, but just the height, because I know one of the concerns certainly with our community is not only being able to get the service that we're not getting now, but we also don't want, to have these cell towers that they're so tall, so high.
Aesthetics.
Within the aesthetic.
Well, yeah, he's got simulations of what's going to look like.
Okay.
No,
so
that's a great comment. Yeah, we did some photo simulations, so I'll show you what it will look like. And you guys do have a beautiful community, so we do want to honor that, and I think the placement makes sense, and we're also going to propose some camouflage to help the tower blend in. So you can go into the next slide. This is going to showcase T-Mobile's coverage.
Yeah, I thought you could still hear me. So if you're living in the park, the point in that whole section down there, Sherwood Forest or whatever, that's not within that circle, and I didn't see any radiating pink or whatever, purple. Am I right on that? Because that's a big part of Ocean Pines. Hopefully,
You're
I'm
saying
wrong.
the area is that, I'm
So-
not too familiar.
So when you highlight the circle, maybe the chief can help you. You highlight the circle up there,
Uh-huh.
which you just did, I guess, to the right. The circle is the main spot, right? So if I go to the right of it, right, outside the circle, right, and then down a little bit, that whole section there is, and again, I think from what I'm seeing here, that's Ocean Pines. That looks like the park to me, the point, Sherwood Forest, that whole area south of the Four Corners. This cell tower really isn't even radiating there from this, right? So help me out. So then how would we get better reception from that other tower on whatever that is, Gum Point over there or wherever? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I'm sorry, just to be clear, the area you're talking about is to the east of where the ring is and to the south.
So, okay, so towards this wall,
Okay.
right, outside your circle, and then down towards where the directors are sitting, that whole area there.
I got you.
Right, Chief, help them out up there.
Yeah, I gotcha. No,
That's, unless I'm off from here, but it looks like that's Ocean Pines, because I see 90.
yeah, I believe that is Ocean Pines and,
Right.
obviously the tower we're proposing may not hit that part of the community, but it doesn't mean that, Verizon, AT&T may not come up with a different solution to target that area, but the tower may not be able to solve.
Right, that's what it looks like to me. That's not going to solve over there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what do we do? Or what do you do?
Well, Verizon could propose small cell solutions, which would be essentially smaller towers, like very small, 40 feet. They can put them on light posts, and they can target certain neighborhoods to increase coverage. Otherwise, I don't think there's going to be a solution to cover the entirety of that whole area, including the area that we're in. So, if we wanted to prioritize better, then we would potentially have to choose a different location for the tower on Ocean Pines property. That'd be the only way I could see getting that red coverage fill in to hit that part to the.
So, right, that could be a whole, shifting game, and then they don't get it in the north side. But I just want to make sure I'm seeing it right. So in that area, because this cell tower will take the circle area, are you saying there might be more, what's the word? Frequency coming from the other tower that may still help that area? You're not sure?
Yeah, you can, yeah, the towers do communicate,
Right.
right?
So we
Each tower
may,
has
but
different-
we don't know.
Yeah, it's a different node. And if the tower goes online, they'll be able to reevaluate and figure, they can point the antennas in different directions and,
And one of the things that's explained to me also, the folks that are inside that circle would have been competing to get to the towers on the south side and the north side, and that the individuals outside of the circle are no longer going to be competing with those individuals.
Right.
yeah, it increases the network, capacity,
Right.
which
Capacity, that's the word I was
it
looking for.
alleviates the,
So just to be clear, I'm not saying to move your circle or your tower. I'm just asking because I see that a big part it won't cover. And then how would that be addressed? Or maybe it's capacity like the chief said.
I think the capacity will certainly help. I'm not an RF engineer, but I would assume that if there's enough need in that specific area, there could be a solution Verizon could propose that wouldn't necessarily require a whole new tower in Ocean Pines. Not sure if that helps.
Let's go on to somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, you can go into
I
it.
just have one question. The 1 mile radius of radiation from, it seems to me that, you don't see a cell phone tower every mile along the highway. Is it a function of height?
I think you'd be surprised how frequently they are put together, especially with 5G coming along. The need for new towers is rising because the 5G technology requires more density. So typically the carriers like to have a tower maybe 1 to every 2 miles apart from each other, which is validated here. So yeah, I mean, it can propagate further than a mile, especially with 4G technology. But yeah, we're seeing towers pop up about a mile apart.
But here's an interesting way to look at it. If you want people on their phones right now, if you look at your signal strength right now, you're either connected to that south tower or the tower behind the shortstop. So if you're not on Wi-Fi, so those
And there's a-
towers. So think about that. So how far away you are currently from
I
those
have one
towers.
ball.
With this tower coming in here in the middle, it should have an impact on people even in that yellow area.
I have a couple of questions and maybe I'm just confused here.
I'll take questions at the end from the community, but I can answer yours.
Okay. This map that you're showing and the colors here, does that just affect Verizon customers?
Yes, but I have maps for AT&T and T-Mobile on the next slide.
Okay, so
This is just Verizon.
This is just a reflection of how the new tower would affect Verizon customers.
Yes, sir.
Second question. My recollection is this issue began because the chief raised the issue of not being sure he could get 911 calls,
Yes,
particularly in dead areas like Elaine is describing.
absolutely.
Will this tower solve that problem in its
Yes,
entirety?
yes.
Okay, now,
But it's specifically in this, just to be clear, the image that it's solving, the tower is solving for this area. So, speaking plainly, that community to the southeast may experience unreliable service until Verizon can provide a solution to that. So this part of the ring, this part where the tower is, that problem will be solved for this
okay.
part, yes.
And the tower that's going to be installed, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, all would be using that tower, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's not Verizon's tower, it's everybody's tower.
Yeah, we construct the tower to hold 4 different carriers' antennas. And right now, like I said, T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon are committed. So it'll be Verizon or AT&T at the top, T-Mobile, and then the third carrier. And I'll show that in a moment here too.
Okay,
Just as a quick follow-up with that, a lot of folks in our community use consumer with cellular. So if there's a fourth one that can be put on,
Which one was that? You said consumer?
consumer cellular,
Consumer
They
cellular?
may use one of the other main.
okay. All right.
Okay.
I think that.
Oh, understood. Okay. Yeah, that'll directly impact.
Do you want to go on to the other ones?
No, if it's an AT&T network,
Hey, let's let this gentleman finish his presentation and hold all questions and comments to the end, okay?
All,
so this is an image of T-Mobile's. Oh,
oops.
T-Mobile. So most of the carriers, it's fairly similar, the impact of their antennas in this area. So you can see the green in this case is the improved service. On the left, the blue is virtually zero signal. So you can see the green radiating and then cascading into the yellow. So that's what I was talking about, that as it goes further out, you will see a network benefit. Outside that circle, it just won't be as reliable as being inside that circle. So it looks fairly similar. And if you can go to the next slide, it'll show AT&T's. Also the same story. You can go to the next slide. It's a little bit about the location here. Explain a little bit about why we chose it. If you can go to the next slide. This is the design. We proposed two different designs. On the left is a standard monopole. That's just a single piece of steel in the air. And you can see all the different arrays for the carriers in that one more clearly. And then on the right would be a camouflage option. It's a tree pole design that looks like a tree. And same story. It has 4 different arrays for carriers. And if you go to the next slide, please. It's a little bit more about the compound. We have 4 different lease areas for each carrier for their equipment on the ground. And you can go to the next slide. So we did 6 just quick simulations for you. So red is where the tower is going to be, and then we took 6 different photos from around the community, 2 of which are not visible. There wasn't really any method of why we chose those locations, just kind of random. And you can go to the next slide. So this one's not visible. This is 550 feet southwest. You go to the next one. Also not visible. This is 800 feet south. Go to the next one. So you see some visibility here. This is pretty much head on, 1,200 feet east of the site.
You can see it, it's right up there in the middle.
You can go to the next slide. It's hard to see. There's an arrow in the middle of the screen. It's just above the tree line there. That's about 1,300 feet northeast of the site. You can go to the next slide. Here's a little bit closer, 700 feet northeast. And you can go to the next slide. Again, this is about 650 feet northwest of the site. So that's what the tree pole solution would look like. And you can go to the next slide. So I don't want to get a little too technical here, but just want to talk a little bit about RF concerns. Most communities have concerns about this wireless safety and the new technology. So there were some FAQs thrown around. One was how much radiation do the cell towers emit? The towers do emit radiation. It's what we call non-ionizing radiation, and it can be typically 1/1000th of the FCC limit for safety. More often than not, it's typically 1%. So it's very little impact on the environment. And in most cases, there's already enough RF in the environment without the tower there. Do towers or antennas cause harm or cancer? Currently, there's no conclusive scientific evidence linking exposure that can cause serious health problems. Ultimately, we are here to adhere to the FCC guidelines. That's our priority. most of our sites are tested and we can prove our exposure rating, but we adhere to the federal government's regulations and it's a top priority for us. We wouldn't be in this business if our towers were not safe. So we can go to the next slide here. Might just go a little bit more into radio frequency, but again, don't want to get too technical, but if it's helpful for people to understand the electromagnetic spectrum, towers and cell phones operate in a non-ionizing frequency. Ionizing would be, on the higher end, X-rays, which can cause damage to tissue, and then on the higher end would be literally radioactive elements. So, and I will say 5G overall is more efficient. It requires less power, and if you're closer to the tower, it won't drain as much as your battery, and it won't have a hard time communicating with your device. So the technology is getting better, it's more efficient, safer, and yeah, I'm not sure if that helps or not, but you can go to the next slide. This is some historical data from one of our towers in Virginia. It's just proving that our towers fall well below the threshold of safety that the FCC states. So increasing, sometimes it decreases over time. So we are seeing a very low increase on over the years with new technology from 4G to 5G, and also efficiency of the technology itself. If you go to the next slide, please. It's just a little bit about the community benefits. I think the number one impacting this community is public safety. It includes emergency preparedness, 911, fire stations. All these community services use the network and require the best service that they can get. On top of that, a more well-connected community serves different sectors of the community as well. And we can talk about increased economic activity. More connectivity means you're searching on your phone, you're making more orders, you're calling more people, more businesses. Having better service gives you more choices for connectivity. About 75% of households in the United States don't have a landline. So many households rely on wireless service to make calls, and that gives them more options. We can go on to the next slide here. So like I said, just a little bit about wireless use. There's about 400 million different connections in the United States right now. That would include people's work phones. It could include smart devices, iPads that connect to the wireless network. About 240 million calls a year to 911. 80% come from wireless, which is very staggering. And like I said earlier, about 3 in 4 households only use wireless connection. And I would assume that number will only go up over time. You can go to the next slide. So these are some FAQs, and I'm happy to answer more questions at the end of this, but it says, why is my cell service poor in some areas on Ocean Pines and not in others? Usually poor service is a result of being further away from certain towers, physical obstructions, and network congestion. If there's a busy weekend, your service will be impacted. If you go to a baseball game, I'm sure people have noticed that before. The more people there are in an environment, the more strain there is on the tower or on the antennas in the network. Could also go to the next slide. This says, what is the difference between SOS and no signal? Can I still call my cell phone if my phone is showing no signal? SO means your phone has no connection to your carrier, but can still use other networks for emergency calls. So you can call 911 in this case. No signal means your phone has no connection to the network, meaning you cannot make any calls, including emergency calls. So there's a big difference there. You can go to the next slide. What factors can affect signal strength in my home or neighborhood? I would say distance to tower, again, obstructions, network capacity, and congestion. In some cases, your phone could have an impact. Having the latest cell device can make your connection to the network more reliable, but I wouldn't say by much. That would be more so for data downloads and not so much for making phone calls. What factors affect, That's okay. What factors affect cell signal strength in my home? I would say options are limited. Oh, that's the same question. I believe the question was, what other options could there be to increase my network coverage or my connection to my carrier? I would say options overall are limited. We've seen signal boosters work in the past, but it's not going to provide the most reliable service for you. The towers are the ultimate form of providing reliable service to communities. So not really much you can do there to get to a reliable point. If you can go to the next slide, please. Why does my service seem worse during certain times of the day? That's mostly, again, due to congestion, traffic, and yeah, more people are using the same tower during peak hours, like mornings, evenings. And sometimes weather can affect it. Maintenance, interference from other devices or other towers nearby can also affect signal strength. So yeah, it ebbs and flows through the day, just depending on the environment. We go to the next slide. Will technology improvements like 5G eventually eliminate the need for new towers? Kind of touched on this earlier. The short answer is no. 5G and whatever comes after 5G will most likely require more towers to be placed up just to provide communities the best and most reliable service that they can get. Our towers absolutely follow all regulations, FCC guidelines like I talked about, OSHA standards, local zoning laws, and environmental impact laws as well. Go to the next slide. I believe we already talked about weather, but this just talking about rain, snow, fog can absorb different signals, and definitely storms can interfere with the network. And touched on this too, but can phone hardware or software upgrades help my service? I would say if you have an older phone or a phone with outdated software updates, it could. As for making phone calls, it should not. But if you're trying to download or FaceTime, it could certainly have an impact on your phone's efficiency or its connection. And we go to the next slide.
So one thing I want to mention, I think you said there is a generator backup on these.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there are generators. One of the things that everybody noticed when we had the power outage 2 months ago, when I know we heard a lot of feedback that nobody could make phone calls. So there is going to be a generator backup on this if it ends up getting built. And most cell phone towers do have generator backups.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to open up the floor to some questions in the back, sir. Yeah.
I've got a brand new 16 Pro iPhone. I have one bar. In the past, it's been virtually impossible to make a phone call from the administration building. I have one bar at my home. I use Wi-Fi calling, so I'm able to make calls. Of course, if Wi-Fi goes out, you don't have a signal. If you could go back to that circle and indicate on the circle on that map where the administration building is and where Manklin Creek is, which is relative to what Mr. Viola was saying. Could you show us those two locations on the map?
Yeah, I believe he is. I'm not sure where the admin building is. Is the admin building northwest of the tower here?
At the admin building, according to that map that I'm seeing.
Well, the admin building is not going to be. I'm not bearing, I just can't read the screen.
If you could go,
Yeah. Right behind.
That's Teal Bay.
That's correct, up behind.
The admin building.
Yes.
That building, the
So-
admin building's out of the circle.
So when we get
Down towards the bottom, way outside the village.
Way outside.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
May I ask a question real quick?
Go ahead.
Sorry. With this that we're looking at right now, just to be clear, that purple section is out over St. Martin's Bay? Is that service that we're saying it's going to provide over the water versus going into
yeah,
the south side for our property?
I believe the bay is already covered. Yeah. If you could zoom out on the left, it should be already covered from a tower. It wouldn't be on this map, but it's to the northeast. I think across the, yeah. So if you could just zoom out a little bit more, it'll show on the left-hand side the existing coverage. Oh. Yeah, I'd have to check. I'd have to see if there's a tower that's being proposed. I forget there's if you cross the bridge, there's another is it
I
an
went out
island
the
there?
bay last week and I had 5G.
Yeah. So I believe there's already service there. Our tower would not be impacting the bay's coverage. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah.
Even some of the businesses around Franklin Creek in the business section there, they've been complaining that the signal sometimes goes in and out.
Sure.
Can they, because that has good street light coverage, could they do repeaters on the street lights lining that area to boost that area?
Yeah. Potentially, I'm not involved in that part of the business. That's a Verizon thing. But I think once this tower goes up, depending on the demand and the customers nearby, they'll maybe reconfigure their plan or yeah.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
No, Milestone funds the tower, and we also manage the tower for the duration of the lease. So we're partners in this. So yeah, we'll be around to maintain the property if any damage happens, but it's all at our cost, zero cost to Ocean Pines.
Any other questions? Yeah, Debbie?
Is there the opportunity to put another cell tower on the south side of Ocean Pines? Has it been looked at to be, because it seems as though the south side is kind of left out of the bunch with this one. And I'm sorry, I'm not speaking ill of this decision, but it does seem like the south side's been left out.
I can address that. When we were first talking about this, we actually proposed several locations, one of them being down by around the fire department and the public works. And after we'll talk with them and Verizon, this is what they came up with as the best location. This was their preferred location to put it, where they believed it would get the best, literally the best response for Ocean Pines here. They actually said that the fire department down there in Public Works would not be a good fit for another tower. And for some reason, I'm not sure if anybody's tried to use your cell phones recently. You go down around fire department, Public Works, the Veterans Memorial, you have a full signal down there. It's an interesting place down there. So I can go down there and I have 4 bars every time I go down to that neck of the woods.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, John.
So as part of the solution, and I kind of what Debbie was saying, look, this is a step in the right direction. I'm not saying it's not, but as part of this, Can there be something worked in? Now, I just heard the chief say you can't have another cell tower. Maybe I misheard. But can we look at a bigger solution here? Or does that come later? Or is it just this and that's it?
That's what the question is, once, if this, we go forward with this, could we put another cell tower up somewhere else?
Yeah, we can certainly help with a second tower. I'm not sure it'd be the most efficient choice for the carriers. It's something I have to validate with them, to see if there's any other solutions, that may have lower impact on the community. But if you guys want a second tower, I can certainly help with that, but, Yeah.
So I just want to make sure I just heard, because this is important. So you're saying a tower could work, but it may not be, and I'm fine with this, it may not be financially viable for the carrier. What they would have to pay us and what they would get back. Right?
Oh,
Did I hear that right or no? And I'm okay with it, but if
Yeah.
that is the case,
I don't work for the carrier, so I don't want to
So you
speak
don't know?
to them specifically, but I would assume that, they have a certain ROI to meet and they want to meet the demand of their customers in a certain area.
right.
So I guess the short answer would be, I have to ask
So
that.
here's my question to you and maybe to think about, and again, I'd have to talk to the board or whatever. If that can be bundled with this tower and maybe there's an adjustment on what you'd pay on the lease or something, that we're not looking for all that money. And again, I have to speak to the board and the association. I would think this board and all of us would be open to that if that would take care of the whole place.
Okay.
Does the board kind of agree with where I'm going with this or no?
Okay, yeah, John.
Sorry about that, Rick. So from a permit standpoint, you guys kind of own that, getting permits?
Yes, sir.
You handle the whole process of county requirements, I don't know, all the
Everything.
requirements that
Yeah.
are needed. I think it's a little bit more than this community saying yes. I think there's some other people who probably need to
Absolutely,
weigh
yeah.
in.
Yeah, we're seeking consent from the community and then we would apply to the county and take that all the way through to permit.
Yeah, no, thank you, appreciate it. But I do support that if we need to do, we do something, we need to make sure our entire community's getting some benefit, not for the folks that live in a 1 mile radius.
I understand, yeah.
Well, listen, folks, I'm going to close the floor to questioning, and I think we should move this to scheduling a town hall and bringing in the carriers with your company and have and bring this out to the public as a town hall. And I want to thank you for coming in and bringing your presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
In the interest of time, I'm sorry? Oh, any other public comments? Yes, 5 minutes, state your name.
Amy Peck, 109 White Horse Drive. Thank you for providing the red line version of the ARC guideline revisions this year. It is my hope that you will address the as-built survey requirements and the additional burden that places on homeowners wanting to improve or sell their homes. I'm here today because I would like clarification on the new deck railing requirements. Board members, these are on page 26. The guidelines state, quote, railing materials visible from roadside allowed include white PVC, unpainted pressure treated, unpainted cedar wood, and powder coated aluminum metal post rail balusters. And then it has a list of what's not included. The way this reads, only unpainted wood is permitted. Anything painted or stained, even white, would no longer qualify as, quote, unpainted cedar or, quote, unpainted pressure treated. By that logic, the only way to have a white railing is with white PVC or powder coated aluminum. All painted or stained wood rails or any Trek rails or TimberTech composite rails or redwood rails would be out of compliance. So I'm not sure if this is just poorly written or if this is the board's intent to oppose this new aesthetic on homeowners. So is my 1975 painted wood railing out of compliance after all these years? And what happens to homes that have already been built with the metal railings? There's a really nice one on Ocean Parkway that just sold recently. What happens to those homes? Are they now in compliance? So I was hoping Bruce Bright was going to be here. I just would like, if this is not written right or if that's really the intent.
I guess we're going to defer answering that question and contact Mr. Bright to get a clarification on that. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Any other public comments? I am closing the floor of public comments. Due to a time constraint, we're going to skip ahead on our agenda in new business for the Good Neighbor Award. Elaine Brady? For the Good Neighbor Award? You can do it.
Enjoy every month because, you know, it's nice to recognize people who do small and large things within our community as good neighbors. And this one is Missy Carter, Kathleen Carter. Missy recently became a big sister and big brother as part of the Big Sisters of the Eastern Shore, serving Worcester County. Each month, she spends one-on-one time with her little sister, a young girl in the community who is navigating some challenges. They love hanging out at the local parks, going to fun events in and around Ocean Pines, and joining activities hosted by Big Brothers, Big Sisters. By just showing up, listening, and having fun together, Missy is helping her little sister feel supported and valued. She's truly a helping change of life for this little girl, better one with one outing at a time. So we thank you. It's a very nice thing to do. It's one of the many things that many people in our community do throughout the years, is doing all of these little things that have big impacts in life. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to resume with the agenda as written. There are no capital requests. We're going to move ahead to CPI violations. Debbie?
Yes. So it looks like the CPI violations that we have at this time is 50 Seabreeze Road, 279 Ocean Parkway, 34 Canal Road, 17 Clubhouse Drive, 37 Teal Circle, 66 Battersea Road, 6 Darby Court, 93 Martinique Circle, 8 Willow Way, 5 Willow Way, 8 Poacher Trail, 5 Bridgewater Road, 37 Wood Duck Drive, 118 Pine Forest Drive. And for approval to have contract resolved, 50 Seabreeze Lane, 37 Teal Circle, and 44 Castle Drive.
Just to be clear, the CPI violations moving to legal, we're going to do that motion first and the second motion for contractor to resolve. Do I have a motion to move to legal the CPI violations that Debbie just read? Do I have a second? Any discussion? Stephen?
I hesitate to do this, but I do have a question. Two of the lots listed under CPI violations also have approval for contractor resolution. So if the second resolution is approved dealing with the contractor, those two lots are no longer in violation. Is that, or are these separate violations?
It looks like 37 Teal Circle, if I understand this correctly, and we can confirm that they have 4 violations. The contractor resolve may not take care of all 4 of those violations, but I can certainly confirm that with Linda. Okay.
And the same is true of Seabreeze?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you. I
Uh-huh.
apologize for the.
Go
Elaine?
ahead.
That is indeed the case, that there are some violations, multiple ones on certain properties, that 1 or 2 of the violations can be corrected by bringing in a contractor. The other, no, it's a bigger issue and will go to legal for other action.
Thank you, Elaine.
Closing the floor to discussion. All in favor of moving those CPI violations to legal, signify by saying aye. Any opposed or abstentions? So moved. Those violations have been moved to legal. Now, the second part of this is for approval to have a contractor resolve under Article 14 of our DRs. The other 50 Seabreeze Lane, 37 Teal Circle, and 44 Castle Drive. Do I have a second? Okay, discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, those are moved to having a contractor resolve. There is no unfinished business. Under new business, we have one item remaining, the first reading of changes to the ARC guidelines. Elaine Brady.
In the art committee as their liaison, they have been modifying, going through the guidelines, and they do that on a pretty regular basis. There are a few things, and one of the, are you having trouble hearing? Okay. Is that better? Better? Is this better? Okay. And as was noted, we did put up a red line so that everybody can take a look at it. This is a first reading. This is where we get the feedback from the community, questions. And we will do that at a, at another meeting. It will not happen next month, just so folks know, because I won't be here. And so you have a little bit of time to look at, but please send emails, information, so that, when we're looking at this, we know what the community feedback is on this. A lot of it is the order of permitting. Previously, it would go last to the secondary HOAs, which was creating a lot of confusion and things that, people were getting permits for that their HOA is not going to allow. So they're looking at making that change. The as-built surveys. We've gotten to a point, and this is where they're looking at, that many of the surveys in the packets that go out when people want to do things or when they're transferring property don't show everything that's on the property. And so it's very difficult to determine whether or not, the permitting process that people are doing the right things, getting their permits and that sort of thing. Right now, they're getting surveys from the 1990s instead of in the 2000s, and lots of upgrades have been done to properties. So that is why that requirement in the resale packages, a lot of times when people, after they've gone to settlement, they find out that they're in violation and they have to correct something that was not taken care of. And typically, as there is a transfer of property, even though it had probably cost maybe $800 to $1,000 to get these surveys, in the process of purchasing or selling a house, that's not a lot of money. And you want to make sure that when you buy a new home, that you're not walking into something that you didn't know was a problem. And you don't know it unless there's a survey. Structures with roofs are being addressed, so is fencing. The big thing in that is there have been a lot of folks who ask for new materials as they become popular. One thing that we have not had are the black powder coating fencing, which a lot of people are asking for. And they have felt like that was something to be considered. And then we're working on updating signage. There's been some questions on some certain things, so we'll be modifying that. So that's pretty much the overall thing that's going on with that. But please take a look at it, send in your, we want to get the feedback on the changes that are being made. And
Okay.
pretty much it.
Okay, thank you, Elaine. There are no appointments, and I'm going to move for adjournment of our meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.